Okay, so in this video we're just taking a look at firmware version 3.0, which has just been released today for the Panasonic GH6, and you can see that here on the firmware update page. So we've got June the 18th 2024 version 3, and this firmware update sort of gives us all the details for the new ARRI LogC3 profile and some more details about the XLR2 adapter. And what we'll do is just kind of run through it. I updated it this morning. It's not a huge update compared to some of the ones we've done in the past, but it's fairly sizable. It's about 181 meg. It only took a couple of minutes to complete, though. It's not a huge update, but yeah, what I'll do is if you're not sure how to update the camera, I'll leave a link above on how to do that, because I've already done that before. I'm not going to do it for every kind of firmware update. So that's specifically sort of how to do it using a card. Or if you want to do it using the Lumix sync app, I've also done a video about that. So I'll link up to that at the top as well. And then you've got the option to kind of do it either way. I generally just do it over card because the sync app isn't always quite as quick at picking up the updates. But yeah, I was just going to run through a few bits. If you come across this page when you're looking for the update, obviously it's quite out of date. You can ignore this. Obviously firmware version 2.4 isn't the latest version. It's just that Panasonic are awful at updating the website in different places. It's just, yeah, I don't know why it's like this, but if you hit firmware download, you'll end up on the right page. So this is the page you want to be on. I'll leave all the links and bits for this in there, but essentially it will just bring you back to the page that I was on here. So you come back to here, GH6 top one, hit click download, and we'll just have a quick look at what we've got in this update. So similar to some older ones, depending on when you updated your firmware, there's a different procedure for updating from version 2.2 and above and 2.0 or lower. So just make sure you go through the right option on this. I updated from the last firmware version, which I believe was 2.5, straight to 3, so I kind of followed this one, but we'll just have a look what's on the update. Like I say, I'll leave that to you to kind of go through. But yeah, so in the latest one, this is everything we've got here. So we've got the added feature for the upgrade software key. So this is for you can see here for ARRI LogC3, and obviously that's been added as a photo style. But again, this is a paid firmware update, a little bit like the old Vlog updates and that type of thing. So I believe it's $199, and then you sort of unlock ARRI LogC3 as a picture profile, and with that come a few other bits, and we'll have a quick look at that in the instructions, because there's a change of all the bits that have been added. So that's the main one, which we heard about on the GH7 release. I can link to a video about it, but it's essentially that's that. Number 2 in there, we've got the basically Panasonic said support for the XLR2 initially was just for the GH7. I mean, it seemed pretty clear that it was going to be expanded to all the other cameras, and you can see here we've got support now for the XLR2 for the Panasonic GH6, so that's great. But one thing worth noting is that 32-bit float is exclusively for the Panasonic GH7. That's not going to work on any other camera. It's not going to work on the GH6, even though it supports the XLR2 now. You're going to be able to do XLR recording on it, and it's going to work as it should, but you won't get 32-bit float recording. And I believe that's going to be the same for everything. So yeah, just the GH7, 32-bit float, but other cameras now are starting to support it. So that sort of indicates there's going to be a firmware update, somewhere along the road for G9 Mark II, S5 Mark II, and S5 Mark IIX for this kind of update to make it work with the XLR2. And then we've got on there just improved operational stability. I'll be honest, I was hoping a couple of things would come into this, like the 2-track audio recording that they brought in on the GH7. That's not in there, unfortunately. I already had a quick look and a quick check. Video type filtering, not there either. So it's a bit of a shame, there's no additional updates. Who knows, maybe they'll come a little bit later down the line. Not sure about that, but I would have liked to see a couple of those things in there, because they're only small things. And then it says on here, you can see the change of specs. So we'll have a quick look at that. So if you click on it, essentially it will take you to this page. And then, I mean, I'm reading it in English, so I just go English HTML, brings me to the instructions. And then if you scroll right down, you might not be able to see this on the screen. Firmware 3.0 is at the bottom, or you can just type in 3.0 into the search box. And then it should just bring back that, yeah, Firmware 3.0. And then you can see here, we've got this little list of bits and pieces. So if we click on the support for the upgrade firmware key, nothing overly exciting here. It's essentially just an option on the camera where we can buy the code, put the code into the camera, hit activate, and it unlocks that profile. So it's yeah, not a huge amount in there, but it's needed obviously because it didn't exist before. So this is sort of the interesting bit. So we've got here the ARRI LogC3 profile is being added, and you can see we've got this bit here called log recording. So essentially it's saying it's optional. We know it's a paid upgrade. And you can see you can have it as a photo style now. So the interesting bit is that they've kind of given us all of these additional bits of information. So you can kind of see on there we've got, I will come to this bit about view assist, but essentially you can't record with MP4 recording quality, which I thought would be the case because I believe 10-bit is like a base requirement for it, which, even Vlog, if you shoot it in 8-bit, it's not particularly flexible. So yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Probably most people have a camera shooting MOV or ProRes anyway, so that's fine. And then this is the kind of interesting bit here. We've got a lower limit of 160, which for Vlog we've got 250 on the GH6, and the higher limit for ARRI LogC3 we've got 1250, which is 2000 on the GH6 for Vlog with DR boost enabled. So it's a little bit lower there. That might be like slightly more workable, sort of 1250, but obviously still quite high. But it is what it is. They're not going to work miracles with it. It's just a new picture profile. It's not going to do a great deal, but you can kind of see there that's the confirmation of the ISO limit. So if that was something you were kind of looking for, then it's kind of there. This bit, log recording, to be honest, this sort of seems a little bit more like it's a bit more like a kind of semantics thing, because we've got things like Vlog view assist. And then what they've actually done is they've changed the name of it for this. So you've got one that's basically like a log assist. This is essentially just telling you about the how it works. You've got links out to all the ARRI libraries, so log to log, LogC3 to Rec709. You've got the LUT packages here, which we briefly showed in another video, but you've got all the downloads there. This is the Lux page, which we sort of looked through on the in another video, just kind of what's there. And then again, they've just repeated about the ISO for that. Essentially, you can go into like obviously all these kind of all these specs about it, and then we'll jump back in. I'm sort of just trying to do a quick overview. This is kind of the bit that I was talking about. So it changes from Vlog view assist to log view assist, and like I say, I think when you're changing your picture profile into this ARRI log profile, obviously it's not called Vlog anymore, so it's log. So basically they've just had to kind of reword this a bit so that it makes a bit more sense, because it's not Vlog view assist anymore, it's log view assist. So not a huge change there. I've got a video about how to use Vlog view assist anyway, in another video. If you want to check that out, I'll link to that above. But yeah, it's like a slight variation of a very similar tool there. So that's kind of there. And then we've got the option for, you can see sort of the important one down here, where we've got ProRes, MP4, and MOV at Vlog. And then you can see down here, you've got the LogC3, and HLG as well as there, and it's got the the fixed kind of luminance level settings. So there's a few updates, but they all, sorry, I've clicked on the wrong bit there. They basically all live around these 2 updates. So you've got the one for essentially this log key update. And then you can kind of see in here, these are the bits that have been added to the menus. So save and restore, so luminance levels there. You've got log view assist there, and you've got the activation key for the actual profile itself. And that's essentially it as the firmware update. I mean, even if you're not gonna buy the new profile, the new picture profile, you're not going to use the XLR2, I'd probably still recommend updating to version 3.0 because there are always little small fixes in there for things, you know. So one thing I always do find, ever so slightly, the startup times always seem to be slightly better every time they do like a firmware update, because I think they just sort of optimize in bits as they go. So, you know, it's worth updating just to version 3.0 anyway, even if you're not kind of looking to use any of this stuff. But yeah, that's it. So hopefully that's helpful. If it was, give the video a like. If you want to see more content like this, then please subscribe.